A massive thank you to Josh979, Paul Demont and Stephen for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 4 of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode here for Season 2. And yeah, of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live from the Australian Grand Prix, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But today though, we jump into the first sprint weekend, of course, back in Emilia for round 4 of the year, back of course in Europe as well. Obviously, we head to Miami next time around and then we're back really, yeah, into the European leg of the championship. Of course, yeah, Emilia last season, many a happy memory, of course. Our first point scored last season here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix weekend, but looking like the weather might be reminiscent to the real-life 2022 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix there. Plenty of rain and maybe a little bit of sunshine later on in the weekend. But of course, yeah, if you're new around here as well to this series, definitely recommend getting yourself subscribed as well, of course, for daily F1 22 content. At the time of recording this, we've ticked over 72,000 subscribers. We're well on our way to 73k. You know, by the time this video goes live, we might just have ticked over 73,000 as well. So a massive thank you to all of you for the insane and continued support on the channel. You know, we've now ticked over 100k on TikTok as well, so yeah, you know, just at the moment we're trying to smash through milestones as best as possible, and of course that's only possible with the support from you guys. But yeah, like I said, if you missed out on the last race from Albert Park, Australia, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We're on a mega run of form at the start of this season there. Now, I'm getting a few questions from you guys sort of asking, how are we doing so well in a car that is theoretically the worst on the grid? And this is the importance, I think, on F1 22 more than ever. You can see so many cars, pretty much from Haas down to ourselves, are really evenly balanced. However, our developments are so even across the board. I think it really is the key on F1 22, you know. We've just got such a good all-round car, and the upgrades we've focused on each department as well have really helped us out. That is why I think we're doing really well at this stage of the year. I mean, even when we have a look at Oscar Piastri, I mean, Bahrain, unfortunately, yeah, he got held in the pit lane behind myself, hence why I finished last. Saudi Arabia, he came P12. Australia, he was probably on for a P11, P12 as well, so he certainly hasn't been that much slower than me early on in the campaign. And of course, you know, he is a rookie driver as well, so certainly at the moment, you know, we should be able to outperform our teammate. But yeah, this weekend though, like I said, heading back to Emilia. Of course, today we'll do qualifying in the sprint race. Tomorrow we'll be back, of course, with the feature race. But let's get into it then, of course, first of all, with free practice. Well, if I remember correctly, actually, last season when we came to Emilia, it was very soggy during free practice as well. I mean, yeah, Italy in April is always a bit of a gamble, and yeah, of course, I know I mention it every time we come back here as well, but when I went out to Emilia earlier on this year, I yeah, managed to experience, I think, one of, not only, I say it had its drama, and I mean, Emilia, yeah, was certainly an experience as well, you know, to sort of be within the Tifosi as well. Of course, yeah, speaking of the Tifosi, still running the competition at the moment with Imperium Experiences. You know, if you want to win tickets to the Italian Grand Prix later on in the year, you know, you've got a couple more weeks to enter that competition. Obviously, links down below as well. But yeah, Emilia can't help but feel it's still a bit of a track, though, that probably needs some changes if it wants to sort of keep up with modern day F1. But you certainly cannot argue against the history around here. You know, some of it for the better, some of it, sadly, for the worse. But that is a part of Formula 1 and goes to show the improvements that the support has made anyway there. But you can just see, heading down in towards the final couple of turns, then so far this lap has been pretty damn good. Only the one green score early on the lap. I'm sure I'm going to say that now, and yeah, of course, pick up a second one and a third as we head out of the final corner there. But are we going to be able to get the purple score at the end of the track acclimatization lap? Yes, we are, only just. Yeah, I must admit, I always feel like I've gelled quite well with the Emilia circuit. It kind of suits my driving style as well, to be fair. So as we head down to finish off my tyre wear run, I mean, yeah, we've had a pretty good little run of form recently so far in Season 2, picking up purple scores left, right and centre. And that's going to be another one to add to the collection there as we finish off our tyre wear run. Right, last programme then, race simulation run. And I'm a little bit worried that we've got onto this one at the wrong time, because the track is starting to dry out and we're still on a set of intermediate tyres here, so it might be a case of really trying to get this challenge done before the track dries out. I don't know. This could go really badly. So we round the final corner, though. We're going to complete the first lap pretty easily there. As you can see, pretty much just second up, using a little bit of battery as we head up towards the line. I guess it's just, of course, trying to keep the tyres now in temperature, as the target's definitely going down as well. So again, though, end of the second lap, we are still going to be way up, near enough a second up on the Delta again. But yeah, the rain has pretty much come to a stop then, so we've got one more lap to do. Sonoda and Gasly now in the Alpha Tauris, of course. Yeah, really Alpha Tauris home weekend here. They're already now going quicker on the dry tyres, so it's just a case of whether we can just keep these tyres in check for one more lap. Well, yeah, really not sure how useful this tyre wear data is going to be as we come towards the end of our race simulation run, because I think both the sprint and the proper Grand Prix are meant to be full dry affairs. But round in the final corner, we are just about going to pick up 3 from 3 purple scores. A pretty smooth sailing free practice here from Imola. Let's get into qualifying then, here, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Before we jump into that, though, I just wanted to let you know of a brilliant competition going on hosted by Imperium Experiences. Have you ever wanted to attend the Italian Grand Prix? Yes, the home of Ferrari, the Temple of Speed, and of course the mighty Tifosi. Imperium Experiences are offering you the chance to win 2 tickets for the weekend and a 3-night stay at a 4-star hotel. All you have to do is enter their competition on their site linked down below in the description or my bio, and you could be off out to Monza. The competition is limited to just 900 inches, however, and closes on the 6th of August, so make sure if you want to get involved to do it as soon as possible. Currently, they're also offering an extra promotion where if you buy 2 entries, you get a 3rd completely free, increasing your chances to win at an incredibly cheap price. They even have a handy guide on their site on how to enter, so I would definitely recommend checking it out, and a massive thank you to them for sponsoring this video.
Look at that then, Friday night qualifying here from Italy, and the sun is now shining once more. That's what we like to see here. As yeah, really hoping now we can try and get into a routine of just only requiring 1 set of tyres in Q1 in sessions. Now, we made it into Q3 on 2 of 3 Grand Prix so far, and we were quite unlucky not to make it 3 from 3 at Albert Park there as we tripped over with George Russell at the end of my Q2 run. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Of course, lowered the wings. Might compromise us a bit later on in qualifying if the rain does arrive. But, of course, yeah, I want to focus on race pace, as that's pretty much going to ruin this first lap. That was a horrible line through the chicane. Down in towards the final couple of turns, though, nonetheless, just trying to keep it tidy, as you really do feel that curb in through the penultimate corner. Hamilton sets the benchmark on a 15.1. We only are, that's 1.7 seconds slower. That will not be enough to see us into Q2. Right, getting ready then to start my second lap here in Q2, and unfortunately for us, we've got a Red Bull all over my gearbox, and it is Max Verstappen. Please don't say we're going to trip over with the Dutchman on this qualifying. Oh, he's already gaining on me. Please, Max, no, bail out of it. You're going to make it into Q2 anyway, mate. So we're just going to slam the door shut there on Verstappen there, almost Mazepin on Giovinazzi style down at turn 1, but it's something we absolutely have to do, because I cannot afford to get caught out in another qualifying session with other cars around me there, as that was a much tidier run as we head through Tosa. Trying to put the power down as you head up the hill there. 4 tenths up. We're going to need about 6 tenths of a second on this final Q1 run to tip it in up at the top of the hill there. You lean on the curbs on the entry and the exit now as you head down in through Aqua Minerale. A bit of a lock up there. Just try and keep it on the curb, and we definitely compromised ourselves a bit of time through there, but we're still 1/4 of a second up as we head now down in towards the final sector. Really attack the curbs at the top of the hill, but still just not finding pace. Where has the pace gone in this car as we head down the hill in towards the final couple of corners? We're going to need to absolutely monster it through these final 2 90-degree left-handers there as we head through the first one quite nice and tidy. Get a really nice run out of the second. Will it be enough, though, to see us through into Q2? P19. What an absolute disaster. Well, there we go then. Q1 results here from Imola, and just nowhere pace there at the end of the session. George Russell ahead of Valtteri Bottas, Hamilton and Lando Norris, as Mercedes and McLaren still seem to be the teams trading fastest over 1 lap pace there. Oscar Piastri makes it through, and we were, what, about 2 tenths away there, so definitely had the pace in the car had I not made that mistake down at Aqua Minerale there. But yeah, the first time last weekend we were out in Q2, this time around out in Q1, we absolutely cannot let this become a habit early on in the campaign. But of course, luckily for us, you know, the sprint race tomorrow, fingers crossed we'll be able to try and fight our way back up towards the top 10 there, and yeah, really set ourselves up for a good race come tomorrow's video. But a disastrous end to qualifying. Let's see what we can do then. Let's dive into the Emilia Romagna GP sprint race.
This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint, not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz, Ocon and Valtteri Bottas, Albon, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Felipe Drugovich and Nicholas Latifi, Mr. Monaco, Schwartzman, Joe and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the Imola sprint race here. Unfortunately, yeah, qualifying was an absolute disaster, so we'll have to wait and see as to how we get on in the race there. But I know I took this gamble last year and it didn't quite pay off for us. However, I feel like now, where we've got better tyre wear, everything like that, you know, we're a lot better at the game as well now on F1 22. I'm willing to take the risk once more and try to get a set of soft tyres right through to the checkered flag. To be honest, we can't really lose a lot, starting from P19. So they're like, we may as well take the risk, see if we can move up the order, try and get a good start as much as anything else, and then fingers crossed, yeah, recover our way from there. But, you know, this race is all about just trying to move ourselves back to where we would have hoped to qualify, ready for the proper Grand Prix tomorrow. And, of course, as always, need to try and get heat in those tyres. We need a good start. Well, as the Mercs and Lando Norris line up at the front of the field, Valtteri Bottas not having a good end to qualifying, especially after the disappointment at Albert Park last time out. I've almost binned it by myself, almost. As Zhou Guanyu now going to try and slot past me. Do I go for the old party trick? It worked out so well in Bahrain. No, I shouldn't. We got to be somewhat sensible on F1 22. But yeah, going to do a couple of burnouts there as we try to line up the car on the grid. There we go, purple score. Ready on the grid though, here for the Emilia Romagna GP sprint race. 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out and away we go. trying to avoid wheel spin off the initial phase there. And now once you get him in towards 4th gear, we can try and get a better start than the AI around us then. Not quite managed to do so. So you head down towards turn 1, but that's not going to stop me from sending it up the inside of Latifi and around the outside of our teammate Oscar Piastri through turn 1 there as oh, what's going on? Drogovic there, our old teammate, going a bit all over the show, so we're just going to slot back in behind Pierre Gasly, but up 3 spots then off the start there, so clearly the gamble, whoa, on the set of soft compound tyres has worked out for me, as I might be able to make a couple more moves work. There is around the outside of Pierre we go as we head up the hill, actually making that move work on the grass, as Gasly doesn't really want to lose out the place in his AlphaTauri, and almost contact like there was between him and Zhou Guanyu in the real Imola sprint race there, as now we've got Yuki Tsunoda trying to hook it up back around the outside. We'll give Yuki some room as we went through Aqua Minerale there, but yes, certainly one of my better starts on F1 22. Nothing I think will ever come close to what we managed back in Bahrain, but as we head down in towards the final couple of turns then of lap 1, I think it's still, yeah, Mercedes 1-2 at the front of the field. Don't know if Hamilton's hung on to the lead. Starting lap 2 though of this Grand Prix, George Russell leading the way ahead of Lewis Hamilton as we're just trying a size move on Pierre Gasly. Can't help but feel we ran slightly too much downforce around this circuit. We really don't want a similar weekend to what Hamilton got in the real life Grand Prix. There is yellow flags out. Someone's got issues up the road. No idea who it is. I think, is it a Red Bull? No, I think it's a Ferrari. Not what they want at their home Grand Prix. They're in Charles Leclerc. Last year, of course, retired from this Grand Prix as well there, as Pierre Gasly locks up at the top of the hill there. Luckily, the yellow flags had gone away. But yeah, Charles Leclerc had a nightmare last season here, and it looks like this year he's going to be starting from the back of the field as Charles Leclerc out of the Imola sprint race. Imola, well, not quite the same as what he managed at the French Grand Prix at the weekend. Just what is going on? Ocon and Bottas side by side through the chicane. That's just allowing me to close up to all the cars in front. We're already up 5 places in the opening 2 laps here, but we have got to nurse the tyres as Ocon and Bottas, neither of them want to give up on the position. Can we go slow and fast out of the final corner and really try and get a good run on our old teammate Felipe Drugovich? Not quite what I wanted. On to lap 3 though, Albon and Schumacher side by side just in front of us. I think Schumacher rather bravely backs out of that one. Still got yellow flags out for Leclerc's stricken car. Now they've gone away as we try and have a look around the outside of Felipe Drugovich. Luckily he doesn't do a Schumacher Montoya on me as we head up the hill there. The AI always try and keep the nose up the inside, but we'll squeeze him, pinch him towards the apex there as we've got more yellow flags out. This time around I think it's Lando Norris who's dropped to the wayside here, so 2 big names already out of the Emilia Romagna sprint race here. Never thought this would be such a race of attrition early on in the weekend, but Lando Norris, maybe with similar fate to Valtteri Bottas last weekend, as now Mercedes is going to be comfortably at the front of the field though. We made an absolute hash of the chicane as we're going to go side by side with Drugovich down the hill. Try and keep the nose on the inside there, give Felipe the room, but we will now inherit P12 then of the Grand Prix. And you know what, with the progress we're making, points might not be impossible here, as here comes Drugovich though, back around the outside there. It's going to turn to the inside for turn 1, but we've just got enough top end speed to hang on ahead of the Brazilian there, as all we thought about it. I'd already committed though back to the apex, and I think Tsunoda has also pulled the move off out of the final corner though as we start lap 5 of this Grand Prix. You can see cars still trying to make moves there as Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon side by side back down towards someone there, and I think Magnussen has just got his elbows out as Mick Schumacher trying to capitalise. There goes, oh, we're into the gravel as we try and hook it up around the outside of Mick there. I think we'll be 3 wide for a brief moment, just about collected up as we went through turn 4 and turn 5 there. That all got very, very sketchy for a brief moment there, but didn't take my foot off the throttle as we went out through the gravel trap, but still, nothing gained, nothing lost. Already getting a little bit worried that we're under on fuel at the moment, so no idea what's happened there, as I think we've got Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon now disputing over P7 and 8 in this Grand Prix. Yeah, we might have to try and nurse the fuel to the end then. I was 0.3 laps over, and it's only an 11 lap race here around Imola, but just got to keep my eye on that. Not just been, of course, having to do the grid start, everything like that, because at the moment, yeah, we're certainly not getting any worse on the fuel. I just have to lift and coast a little bit. And then Mark warns me about it, but yeah, just going to have to be careful, sensible with it, but we still want to try and make more moves. Really, I'm having to look after the fuel at the moment, but it's kind of helping me save the tyres as well. It's trying to get a run on Mick Schumacher now as we head back down towards turn 1. Are we going to get close enough to the Haas car? We beat a move down in towards the first corner there, take a lot of curb, but can't do anything about it. I feel like, yeah, we've probably done realistically as well as we could have hoped for early on in this sprint race there. You know, we have utilised the better part of the soft compound tyres, but, you know, I'm a racing driver through and through. I always want to try and gain more if I feel there's more on the table. But yeah, we might just have to try and consolidate P12, as we have still definitely got to nurse the fuel. I don't know why I'm saying nurse the fuel, by the way. We've just got to make sure we're economical to the end, but it's like nursing the tyres, I suppose. Yeah, we're still all over the gearbox of Mick Schumacher as we get in towards the final 2 laps of this Grand Prix there. The Haas, though, has got phenomenal traction. We already know, of course, from the Haas Road to Glory just how good the top-end speed is on that car as well there. But gaining on Mick Schumacher once more as we get towards turn 1 there, and still just nothing happening through that first corner, and we are still just using slightly more fuel than I probably sensibly should be there. I think Tsunoda and Gasly are battling behind us, but rounding through the final couple of corners, they're about to start the last lap here from Imola, and yeah, it's one of those horrible things where you feel like you could have had a bit more out of it, but then we kind of got to remember, you know, 7 places in 11 laps is not a bad run, especially around a circuit like this, and, you know, we took the gamble on the tyres to make sure, you know, that we could try and have the extra pace early on, and then sit back in, well, the second half of what is an incredibly short Grand Prix. But that was kind of the strategy at play here today. As Tsunoda and Gasly, like I said, still battling further behind us. But yeah, didn't quite put enough fuel in the car either. But I don't think we were ever really going to get the speed to jump Mick Schumacher there, especially if he was just hanging on inside the DRS range of the cars in front there. And I mean, like I said, you know, this race was completely set up. You know, we went on the soft tyres there just to try and have the extra pace early on, you know, get ourselves closer to the points paying positions ready for the big race tomorrow, of course. Very few points available on a Saturday here. You know, we are really just focused on Sunday, but still having to save the fuel as we head through the final couple of corners. Lewis Hamilton is going to win, though, here the Emilia Romagna GP sprint race and extend the gap over George Russell by 1 further point there. Tsunoda now really has closed up to me on this final lap as we're just trying to save fuel through the final couple of turns there. But rounding the final corner, we've gone into low fuel mode. Fingers crossed we'll have enough to hang on from Tsunoda up towards the line. Yes, we will.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Emilia Romagna GP sprint race, and it is once more another Mercedes 1-2 there. Who is going to take points away from them this season? That is the real question on everybody's mind there. Verstappen and Perez, 3rd and 4th, they're a much better start to the weekend for Red Bull. But yeah, can't help but wonder, maybe I thought we had a really good all-round car. Perhaps we've kind of just built the Haas 2.0 on F1 at 22 there. Ricciardo finishes ahead of Carlos Sainz with K-Mag and Albon. Alex Albon, yeah, rounding out the points there in P8. A fantastic sprint race from him, and I'm sure he'll want to try and continue on that form tomorrow. Ocon and Bottas to round out the top 10, and we will be starting the feature race in P12 there. Piastri didn't quite have the run he would have wanted in the sprint today, only down in P18 there when all is said and done, and that does mean no real movement, I don't think, in the Drivers' Championship. Albon just still now pulling away another point over Pierre Gasly there. Constructors-wise, though, again, I mean, look at that. Mercedes 147 points. McLaren 51 now. 1 point ahead of Ferrari after this sprint race today there. We're dropping back away from Red Bull, but like I said, I think if we can solidify P5 over Alpine this year, that is probably going to be the big goal for us. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return tomorrow ready for the proper Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss that.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.